another installment of FSW Conversations, brought to you by Fashion Strategy Weekly, which looks to bring practical, strategic, and research-based insights to leaders in the fashion and luxury industries. I am Jessica Quillen, co-publisher of Fashion Strategy Weekly and co-founder of luxury strategy agency It's a Working Title. In this edition of FSW Conversations, I am talking to Vera Giusti, who heads Italian shoe brand Atelier Giusti Lambruni, better known as AGL, along with her sisters Sarah and Mariana. Founded in 1958 by Vera's grandfather, Piero, AGL is part of a small coterie of Italian native luxury shoe brands that have been creating beautiful shoes for generations. Since taking charge of AGL, Vera and her sisters have in no small way reinvented their grandfather's brand with a core focus on female-focused creativity and quality craftsmanship. Vera, thank you so much for joining us today. Just to start off with, I would just love for you to talk about what it was like growing up as part of your family's shoe making business and sort of how you made your own journey into fashion.
So Jessica, thank you for having me today. So I'm Piero Giusti, one of the three sisters behind AGL shoe brand. My family story is a long shoe story because, as you told, so my grandfather founded the company in 1958. Then my father bring on this project, and in the early 2000, my sister and I, we joined the company one after another. Actually, to us, it was very spontaneous and normal to work in the company because since when we were a child, we used to spend our time in the laboratory. At that time, when I was a child, the laboratory was just a room in my house, downstairs of my house. So we used to spend our time near my father, close to our father. He was designing shoes while we played with leather, sewing leather, making dresses for Barbies. And, you know, was super natural and spontaneous for us to join the family business. To us, it's our family jewel. We respect it, we love it, and we do this job full of passion, really.
I love that. Did you ever have another plan for yourself, or did you always know you would end up joining your family company?
I mean, actually, no. Even if my sister and I, all of the three, we did something else with the three. Of course, I was degree in marketing and communication, Sarah in economics, and Mariana in fashion. And we traveled a lot before to join the company. But every experience in our young life was something, was a step that make us closer to this decision. Shoes are in our blood since the very beginning, and was naturally spontaneous in our heart to join the company. We joined the family business one after another, not in the same moment. We have different roles in the company. That's why I think we have a super good relation. So having different responsibility, but we three, we really love what we do. We love the people around us. So we feel really lucky in being part of this great family project.
That's amazing. So is it hard working with your sisters, or like what are the pros and cons of working so closely with your family?
I mean, we three, we are really close in age, and we know one another perfectly. So even if we are really different in personality, I'm the more creative, Sarah is the more rational, and Mariana is the more romantic in a way. But we are complementary one another. We speak a non-verbal language, I can say, because we understand one another completely. And that helps during the day. Taking decision is very easy for us. And also if we have different opinion, if two agrees, then we go. So we are three. Being three, it's easier than two, or, you know. And yes, I always say that without them, I cannot be here in the same way, with the same passion, you know. And also as a young women, now we are mother, we not just share the everyday life, everyday work, but also being working mother together. It's something that make us more, you know, complete us. Being together, passing through the same experience, it helps a lot.
No, and I love that. And look, one thing I love about what you're building at AGL, as I said, kind of in the beginning, was just how female-centric you are as a company, both in terms of leadership and even product-wise. I would love to understand more about what to you is the importance of empowering women through fashion and kind of, things you have learned also in your own experiences as a businesswoman in fashion, that being a woman gives you those strengths. Because I just love this idea of empowering women through what you do.
Exactly. It's such important for us that we not just really wanted to be three, but little by little during the year, we enlarge the female community in AGL. So when we start in 2010, more or less, the female force was like 35% in the company, and now we are 65% from the management to the working people. So it's very important for us to build up this female group, because women are incredible, honest, they work hard and work with such a passion in a collaborative way. I mean, we did, so as the three sisters did this silent revolution in the company. We want to bring on, for example, a lot of tradition, what my father and my grandfather teach us. But what we really changed during the year is the female force in the company. It's very, very important for us to have this sisterhood group that help us. It's not just work, it's more, because when you work with women, it's enrich you a lot. I mean, yes. And if you are a brand that design shoes for women, being in women, it helps to understand the women needs, the women's desire. So we are a beautiful group, I can say. I'm super proud.
No, I love that. And look, as someone who has worn your shoes for years, I mean, I appreciate that you guys sort of nicely blend sort of the style and the wearability factor. I mean, I can just throw on my shoes and wear them, kind of every day, rather than the, kind of super sky high heels all the time. So I appreciate that. Just another question along that lines. I mean, is it challenging to work as a woman in Italy, and like what kinds of challenges have you faced as three women heading a company? Because I know that the business environment in Italy can be challenging.
Mm-mm. I mean, shoe designing, shoe making, it's still a very masculine job. There are the majority part of the designer are men, everybody knows. But so you need extra power, extra force, extra patience to be a woman in this world. But it adds a lot, because again, it's very different to design women from a women hand, from a women mind, than to be a man that design shoes for women. We have completely a different image of the woman. I'm the same person who design and wear the shoes, so I understand completely what women needs and want. So even if it's much harder to be a woman in this world, it enriches you a lot, and it helps in a way to understand your community. Men always thinks to the woman in a sexy way, while we things to our community in a more down-to-earth, realistic way. And it helps. Yes, it helps a lot. That's our secret. I mean, I think that the power of AGL is being women that design for other women like us. They can be, I mean, talent, actresses, or normal women, because at the very end of the day, everybody of us needs the same thing: to be beautiful. We need accessoires and shoes that underline our personality, but still we want to be comfort. We want very comfortable shoes, wearable shoes, that stay with us all the day long. And yeah, we need the same thing with a special accent.
Yeah, well, I so appreciate that. Just as I have a 12-year-old son, and I think, having wearable shoes that are also stylish, but also that I can, like, at least when my son was little, chase him around. That was always helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we want to bring from our grandfather. So, I mean, when we in the 2010 we starting to manage the company, our motto between our three was to make together the tradition, the Italian craftsmanship, Italian supplier that was my grandfather teach to us with modernity, a modernity touch and style. So to mix up tradition and modernity, that was our motto. And I think that during collection after collection and during the years, I really think that my sister and I really reached this goal.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. Just to dive a little deeper into that, what do heritage and story mean to you as part of a family-owned brand? Because you've touched a lot on the kind of maintaining and kind of reinventing what your grandfather has done. But I'm just curious to you kind of how you're building your own story, but also how the heritage part of that and kind of what that means to you and how you sort of try to balance the both. Because obviously heritage and modernity are two kind of different constructs, and I like the way that you blend them. But I'm just curious, you know, kind of what heritage and
So
story mean to you.
heritage is our jewel, the tradition and long story of our company is our jewel, and we want really to maintain the craftsmanship, the techniques that my grandfather teach to us in terms of making shoes that are comfortable, flexible, with some tricks that makes, for example, extra height inside, or we produce shoes with the same lining used for children's shoes. That is this kind of little tricks that my grandfather teach to us. But these must be combined with modernity, with something more, with a new vision of the company. One important revolution I told you is to have a female point of view from every side of the company. But another very important revolution we did was the sustainable revolution, because we started in 2006 to make the company independent in terms of solar energy. So now in the 2024, we produce everything with clean energy. That's very, very important for us, not just to produce shoes, beautiful shoes, but to be also respectful for the next generation, for the environment. That's something that we have very clear in mind, maybe because we are mothers.
Yeah, I love that.
Shoes, making shoes is just one step to be important in other ways. You know, you can make the difference. So we try to add to the ancient tradition the very important modern revolution. So keeping in mind the importance of heritage, of course, but also of modernity.
I love that so much. And, you know, my own son is always saying that, you know, he's got an eye towards sustainability and climate change anyways. And he's always trying to make sure that we, as his parents, know where his values are when it comes to that. So I know that the children will probably appreciate that, but it's the same energy that drives me as an entrepreneur as well. So I so love that you infuse that into sort of your brand, because I just think it's incredibly smart. You know, just to kind of go slightly differently. I mean, one thing that interests me about what you guys are doing is just that from a marketing perspective, you're very kind of controlled with your marketing. You're not kind of everywhere like a lot of other luxury brands, because, you know, luxury brands are under a lot of pressure to function almost as media brands these days. We see LVMH going into 22 Montaigne, and there's this kind of constant need to be producing content all the time and trying to put yourself in front of consumers all the time. And I'm just very curious from your angle, sort of how you approach content at AGL, given this sort of urge to be everywhere at once.
Yeah, exactly, Jessica. I mean, my grandfather was a shoemaker. We are more than shoemakers, you know, because in this modern world, you need to communicate who you are. And we produce a lot of content, not just for the European and American social media, but also for the Chinese. So we have many social media pages. And it's very important for us to tell to our audience who AGL woman is, and we do this thanks to another fantastic woman that is Kerry Grand. She's a good friend of me, and we worked together since a lot of time for many years. She knows exactly who I am, firstly, and who the brand is, our story. And thanks to her help, and together we help with her, we produce some beautiful content that express who is our woman. So it's a creative woman. We add always in all our content colors or something special, a bold position or pose, something very special that represent who we are and who our women is. And I think we do a great job because through the social media we receive a very direct feedback that is very important for us to receive feedback from our audience, and they appreciate a lot, from China to US, from Europe to Italy, and that's great to build up a global community. So no matter what, who you are, where you live, but so we feel part of the same community, and that's great. Thanks to the social media we can do that. So it's very, very important. It's tricky sometimes, but it's very important. It's an important job to manage the social media, and but it's interesting the same way. Also, thanks to the social media, we receive feedback from the talent. So we received a lot of pictures of actresses and so on. And what we like is that people, no matter what their job, no matter what how important they are, how famous they are, but they use AGL in the same way. So we are part of the same community. So it's great.
I love hearing that. That's amazing. And, I so appreciate every time you guys come out with a new collection that it always has a core story to it. Like I feel like the narrative so kind of drives the kind of collection just presence, and I think it does such a good job at representing everything you guys are doing. So I really appreciate that. Just one final question I had was just, do you have any advice for women working in fashion to survive or get ahead?
I mean, never give up. It's a hard job, but still super beautiful. You can be creative. You can do your work with special people, because fashion people are really creative, eccentric, but still so deep and inspiring people. So I feel lucky because thanks to this job, I met the most beautiful people in the world. You also, Jessica, and thank you for this. I mean, people, it's the most important thing of this job. So you have the chance to meet a lot of inspiring people. You grow up with special people. So never give up. Believe in your dreams, because no matter what is tiny, little, or super big, it's your dream, and that's very, very important and inspiring for other people. Also, sometimes when people come to AGL and want to work with me and they say that I inspire them, I really feel myself so proud that there are people around the world that collect my shoe, and it's incredibly I mean, important, and it's great. I'm lucky. I feel myself really lucky. I have a girl, and I really hope that she will continue this fantastic family jewel, this fantastic path, starting from my grandfather, through my father, then me. And I really hope that AGL will be the fourth generation, because it's something special that we create together through generations.
Well, I hope so too. That's amazing, and I love that you're wanting to bring your daughter into this, or doing this for her. That's absolutely amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I know everyone will love hearing your perspective on everything.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me.